Welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon White 2, right in the middle of the battle. Again, I apologize for that. Well, even though you probably don't care, my OCD most definitely does. And just for the record, by the way, when I talk about my OCD, it doesn't mean I actually have OCD. As someone actually thought I had OCD because I referred to it as such. It's just my tendencies when gaming and Let's Playing that are, like, really compulsive and stuff, and that's where it comes from. Doesn't mean I have OCD, nor do I mean to offend anyone who actually does. So, one thing that I wanted to talk about today, you've probably seen that demo Gen 6 fight between Morimoto from Game Freak, you know, the same Morimoto who self-inserted himself as a super boss in this game, and Pokemon Smash's Yamamoto. It took place at the Pokemon Game Show, and I don't know just how many among you have seen this battle, but there's been a lot of speculation going around it as far as Sylveon's stat spread goes. And I'll put a link to the battle in the movie description in case you haven't seen it, because it's worth at least taking a look, if only to see what a full battle in Generation 6 looks like. But yeah, near the end of the battle, it ended up with a showdown between Yamamoto's Politoed and Morimoto's Sylveon, and at one point, Morimoto's Sylveon takes Life Orb Boosted Critical Hit Hydro Pump in the rain, and Sylveon only takes, just over half damage from it, which many people say is outright impossible, but it definitely hints at a special defense stat of 130, since we pretty much know for a fact that the HP is 95, and some people argue that the HP is actually 110 because of that, but don't worry, I'm pretty sure that it still is 95. It just so happens that Sylveon is one hell of a special tank. But, yeah, the fact is that it did the job so well that some people are thinking that the battle may have actually been staged, which wouldn't be a surprise, to be perfectly honest with you, for the simple reason that when showcasing a new game that isn't out yet, you want the action to be as exciting as possible, and you don't want the battle to end in a blowout. So that makes sense from a certain point of view, but it might also be possible that Sylveon's stats may have been jacked up for the sake of the demo, and that's what I think some people mean by the battle being staged. The fact that Sylveon has higher stats than it's actually meant to have, and as a result it survived a hit with just under half health that it probably shouldn't have survived otherwise. It's all really confusing in a way, so I don't know if we should read too much into that battle for that reason. Another possibility that I've come up with, and I haven't seen anyone mention, is the fact that maybe, just maybe, they disabled critical hits for the sake of the demo using, special copies of the game. They disabled critical hits, but they did not remove the notice when you get a critical hit. So for example, going back to the fact that the Sylveon took that critical like a champ and survived with just under half health, if that was the case, it registered as a critical but didn't actually do double damage. If it did double damage, Sylveon would have been one shot, which, once again, isn't too good, considering that, well, on one side, you had Morimoto exclusively using the few Generation 6 Pokemon that had been revealed at this point, and Yamamoto used exclusively old Pokemon. So, theoretically, you might be more interested in making Morimoto win because, you want to show just how good the new Pokemon are and stuff like that. And, maybe I'm just reading too much into it. Maybe it's just that Sylveon is just one hell of a special tank, and something that is noticeable in that video as well is the fact that, Draining Kiss hurt like a motherfucker, considering that it's only a 60 power move. Though I don't think many people know that it has 60 power to begin with, so it might be why it flew under the radar. So, in essence, what I said the other day about Sylveon having 110 attack and 130 special defense is purely theoretical, but it's probably an accurate guess. I can't see either of these stats being 60 or one of the 65s. It probably has to be 110 and 130. So here's a Thunderstone in case you want one. I definitely do want one because I'll be using Electros later on. Speaking of Electros, my plans as far as it goes is that, well, right now I'm about to exit the bottommost floor of Chargestone Cave where Tynamos are more common. So, as a result, I don't think that I'll, unless I get really lucky on those next few random encounters, I'm probably not going to be getting a Tynamo on this trek to Chargestone Cave. So, what I'm going to do, really hoping this one is a Tynamo. Nope, it's a Joltik Tynamo. I think only has an 8% chance of appearing on this floor, which is still more than the 2% on the other floors, mind you. But yeah, what I'm planning on doing is that I'm going to head out of here. I'm going to visit Mr. Alton City, and after that's done, I'm going to head back down into Chargestone Cave, come back to this area, and, oh, we got Bianca right here. I wonder what she has to say. She's here at Professor Juniper's request. So, I was just speaking about Tynamo. Talk about speaking of the devil. So yeah, there aren't many and they don't seem very strong. That is a fairly accurate assessment because the fact is that Tynamo has very, very low stats and only knows 4 moves: Spark, Thunder Wave, Tackle, and I'm forgetting the last one. I think it's Charge Beam, but I wouldn't bet any money on it. So, yeah, I'm going to head out of here, visit Mr. Alton City, then come back to the lower level of Chargestone Cave and actively look for a Tynamo this time. And when I catch one, I'm not going to make too much of a fuss about the nature unless it's a really bad one. Well, I don't really know what could potentially qualify as a bad one in this context, considering that I'm planning on using it as a mixed attacker. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to Audino grind it to level 39, evolve it into an electric, of course. It's going to have an Eviolite the whole time before it evolves into Electros. It goes without saying. And after that, I'm going to use the trainers on Route 7, Celestial Tower, and also the Mr. Alton Gym, the Mile High Club, in order to get it back up to speed compared to the rest of my team. And let's be honest here, Electric is particularly good at that job, especially based on what I experienced in my practice run, because Crunch murders just about everything in the Celestial Tower, and Spark and Volt Switch will take care of the Mr. Alton Cave. I've already done that. The Mile High Club very easily. So, okay, right now we can see the exit, but there are a few side paths that I haven't checked out yet. There's one of them that leads back to the first part of this floor, but it's only a one-way thing. Not because it's a jumping ledge, but because if you make the map refresh either by going to another floor or by leaving the cave entirely, all of those floating stones will be back at their regular locations, meaning that if you go, meaning that if you start from the entrance again, you won't be able to take that passage that I just opened up because that stone will have been replaced at its original place. Well, whatever. So yeah, this is the plan as far as Tynamo and Electric go. Of course, when it hits level 44, I will evolve it right away using a Thunderstone because, well, you might be wondering why I'm not evolving it right away at level 39, and the reason is because, well, I'm evolving Tynamo into Electric at level 39, but not Electric into an Electros, because Electric learns Thunderbolt at level 44, and Thunderbolt is obtained very, very, very late. in the main game. I think it's somewhere around Victory Road. Maybe it's the one that Anne gives to you. But, yeah, Thunderbolt is obtained very, very late, and I would very much like to have Thunderbolt for a longer period of time, hence why I'm just going to wait it out and evolve it at level 44, which isn't that big of a deal, considering that, as I said before, Electric completely dominates these upcoming areas, so evolving it is not an absolutely dire need right now. And now it's worth noting that Electros, just like Volcarona, is going to take a little while coming into its own, because the main reason why you want to use it in-game is access to both Giga Drain and Drain Punch. And that's why I'm using something so slow, otherwise I would probably not even considered it. Of course it has no weakness, which is pretty good, especially when paired up with draining moves. But aside from that, well, it's really slow, and I probably wouldn't be using it if not for access to said draining moves. So, right now I think I've explored just about everything that I can explore in this place. So I'm just going to take out this nose pass, and, well, depending on how lucky I get with random encounter, we may be getting into Mistralton City real quick. And you know what reaching Mistralton City means? You probably know it so well that I'm not even going to mention what it means. So, well, for once, one of these things gets right in front of me, and it's not a battle. Great. So, welcome to Mistralton City. Oh, right, it's spring, so I'm going to have to go back to the Castelia sewers whenever I get the chance. Yeah, Bagfuck Street. They actually used the name of your joint avenue with this NPC. Anyway, going up here, you run into Professor Juniper. You meet her in person for the very first time in this game at this point. We talked to her through the X-Transceiver all the way back when I first beat Sharon. Man, it's been a while already, but this is the first time that you actually get to meet her in the flesh. So, I've seen 105 Pokemon up to this point. Not bad at all, so what's she gonna give me for that? Oh, a Master Ball! Holy crap, that's early to get a Master Ball! But, yeah, I wonder if there's a certain amount of Pokemon that I need to have seen in order to get the Master Ball. Somehow I doubt it, because this scene is a one-time event. And yeah, she's talking once again about how Pokemon distribution changes in 2 years. I love how they're trying to shoehorn in a purely gameplay point into an actual plot point. But anyway, you know who this is. I don't need to introduce her to you at this point, even though Professor Juniper is going to do the honors for us regardless. Anyway, what do we got here? Okay, she's explaining Juniper's motive for being here with her. She's trying to get to Opelucid City, and the path through Twist Mountain is blocked right now. Of course, I'm going to have to go to Opelucid myself once I'm done with this place. So, she's going off to Celestial Tower, and Skyla isn't going to like it one bit, because Juniper is proving that she is every bit as much of a scatterbrain as her father was depicted as being on this very spot in the first game. I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as one might say. Get out of my head, Skyla! God damn it! Well, I guess the tables have turned, since usually it's other stuff that goes in Skyla's head, if you catch my drift. But yeah, I did not remember her saying that line. Honest to goodness. That was kind of awesome, in a way. But, yeah, there are a few NPCs around here. As usual, I'm going to talk to them all. But first, let's visit the Pokemon Center. Mr. Metal is here. So what am I going to get from him this time? I'm going to get the Signboard Starter, which means I have no idea what this is supposed to be. Dowsing Collector, which means that you have collected a lot of items using the dowsing machine. Yeah, way to explain what past powers do. You're being so cryptic right now. Now, to end off this video, we're just going to check out what these guys have to sell. Okay, same selection as usual, nothing special about it. And here we have TMs! Oh, the weather TMs, which are now totally useless with the advent of permanent weather. So, that is it for today. Next time, we're going to explore Mr. Alton City and also catch ourselves a Tynamo.